Can somebody explain to me why is it that when an extremely credible source is quoted, when they make a derogatory statement, somehow Donald Trump says that the source is bullshit, but that when he wants to quote an extremely credible source, that that extremely credible source is on the money. Here's a little take from the Chris Hayes show, illustrating the hypocrisy of Donald Trump when he makes these types of statements.
Thing one tonight, Donald Trump's early morning Twitter rage included two tweets that particularly caught my eye. Anytime you see a story about me or my campaign saying sources said, do not believe it. There are no sources, there are just made-up lies. And shortly after, remember, don't believe sources said by the very dishonest media. If they don't name the sources don't exist. This outburst of journalistic integrity likely comes as a result of this New York Times piece that came out after the debate and relied on unnamed sources within Trump's campaign, saying things like, even as Mr. Trump's advisors publicly backed him and praised his debate performance, they were privately awash in second-guessing. In interviews, 7 campaign aides and advisors, most of whom sought anonymity to speak candidly, expressed frustration and discouragement over their candidate's performance Monday night. Now, speaking off the record when criticizing your party's nominee isn't unheard of during an election, but you know what? Trump does have a point. It can be very dangerous to make allegations without citing your sources. There's one person in particular who might want to heed that advice, and that is thing 2 in just 60 seconds. Donald Trump is warning his Twitter followers not to believe stories that rely on unnamed sources, which is great journalistic advice he's familiar with because it is a game he knows very well. Just scroll down that same Twitter feed and see the time that an extremely credible source told him that President Obama's birth certificate was a fraud, or when an extremely credible source told him President Obama listed himself as a foreign student on a college application. Maybe it was the same extremely credible source that told him the president was involved in some real estate scheme, or this confidential source that said the president went on a national spending spree. And this source inside the New York Attorney General's office concerned about their lightweight boss. Then there's the time he specifically said 5 sources told him the Mexican government was intentionally sending criminals.
I'd just like you to be as specific as you can in saying, how do you know the Mexican government is sending people over?
Because
What's
I've
your
heard it
evidence of
from
that?
5 different sources.
And what are the 5
And
sources?
I'll reveal my sources when you reveal your sources, Mark.
Okay, so there are 5, okay? Let's just remember Donald Trump's advice. If sources aren't named, then they don't exist.
Exactly. If sources aren't named, they don't exist, Donald.